Hey everybody, it's your Survivor pal Gordon Holmes here with your exit press for Survivor 47, episode 12, talking to Caroline in just a moment. And woo, what an episode we had last night. Before we get into that, a couple of quick orders of business. First of all, comment section is open. Let us know what you think of the episode, the interview, etc. What's your favorite color? As always, the rules are be nice to each other, be nice to the contestants, and most importantly, be nice to me. Also, if you enjoy this content and want to help support us, gordonholmes.substack.com. If you'd like to subscribe there, you get a full episode recap immediately following every episode, as well as individual letter grades for each one of the players. Also, if you enjoy this, like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell, puts us in front of more people to see us, more stuff we can do. And with that being said, let's see what Caroline has to say about last night's episode.
Hi! Oh my gosh. I've been so excited to meet you. I
What?
wish it was in different circumstances, but I'm thrilled to be able to chat with you.
It was too soon. I'm not supposed to talk to you for another 2 weeks.
That's what I wanted too, Gordon. It's what I wanted.
Here's the thing. My goal is for you to leave this interview with a smile on your face. I'm a glasses half full kind of guy. So
Love
yes,
it.
last night you were blindsided. You had the numbers, two idols, block a vote, partridge in a pear tree. That sucks.
Everything. Yep.
But you got to see the live show of Jeff Probst saying tiramisu,
I
right?
did. Yep. But it's funny watching it back. It felt like foreshadowing because I feel like one of the gestures of Operation Italy is like Operation Italy. People have been doing that behind the scenes. So to see Jeff foreshadowing the whole Operation Italy moment, it felt like um hilarious to watch back. But again, I completely agree with you. Got to see the whole package out there.
Yeah, it's messed up. If they had literally any other kind of food, you'd probably be still in the game.
I kid you not. For my last meal, I would have thought I wanted spaghetti. I didn't order spaghetti because I was like, they got Italian food on the reward. I'm doing chicken tikka masala. So, yeah,
First of all, that's a good second choice.
thank you.
Second, has that ruined Italian food for you going forward? Because that's unforgivable. Italian food's
I,
so good.
it's so good. I live in Chicago. I adore Italian food. I've gotten myself back into it, slow baby steps. But no, I'm still an Italian food lover and genuinely, like, I respect good gameplay. And so I respect the move. And so no hard feelings.
I believe, well, first of all, if they affected the way I felt about garlic bread, I would never forgive them. But I said this about you. I'm like, every phrase that leaves your face is brilliant. It's on point. Like you were such an incredible strategic player. My goal is a returnee season where you, Rachel, and Genevieve are like captains.
Oh,
Um,
would love that.
yeah,
Oh my gosh.
CBS listens to everything I say, so I'm going to pitch that. Um,
Love it.
but looking back at it, were there anything that could have tipped you off about what was going on there?
There were definitely some red flags, and looking back at it, the fact that we were so adamant, I was so adamant on having it be exactly what Andy wanted. I wish there was a little bit more critical thinking and critique around having it be that, but I'd love to explain to you why that was the way it was. And if anything, I was the biggest advocate for it. I was telling Sue, don't play your idol on me. Don't do it. I was really advocating for Rachel. Thank you. Let's think about the block of vote, but I really don't think you should do it. What Andy proposed for the split vote, I was like, great, let's do Andy's plan. The reason for it is I could tell Andy really wanted to leave his mark on the game. He was really ready to do something big, especially after we kind of shut him down more harshly than what was shown for going after Genevieve and we went after Kyle. I wanted his big move. My goal was I wanted him to feel respected and heard. So when he's proposing a big move, I was like, we need to give Andy this move. This needs to be his big move. And yes, there's things we can do to guarantee that it's Genevieve going home. I don't want to steal Andy's thunder. I don't want him to feel then like he needs to do something else bigger and crazier, more chaotic the next vote. So I was a huge advocate for having it be what Andy wanted. I think I overrated the risk of Andy being chaotic and trying to scramble next vote to just be safe, get to the final six, deal with the consequences later, and just guarantee you'll be safe. But that I took a calculated risk and it didn't work out in my favor. But that was the reasoning why.
So in a way, you were like the fourth member of this Italian blind side.
Yes, I was.
I
I
think you
was
get a
their
little bit of
biggest
credit for it.
advocate for it. Didn't know it, but I was the one cheerleading for everything they wanted to happen. I was the person, gosh, I'm trying to think of like Italian. I was like the Mario or the Luigi. I was the one just advocating for it. I don't know the right analogy, but I was so supportive of Operation Italy. And so, I was a part of it. Now I'm the official victim.
Yeah, see, glass is half full. So
Half full.
say it goes the way you want it to go, right? Say Sam goes home. We've got this all female alliance, but Rachel's a part of that, and she's obviously a big threat. What was your plan going forward if things had gone the way you wanted them to?
Absolutely. So something that's not shown is Rachel and I actually became aligned the night after Sierra went home. And as the game continued on, Rachel ended up evolving into like my strategic number one out there. And so while I consistently viewed her as a threatening player, she was a threatening player that was working with me. And we were working really well together. I loved working with Rachel. And so did I feel confident I wanted to sit the end with her? No. But we were working so well together and in nuanced ways where I felt like they were other people who were also big threats, but big threats that weren't working with me as well. And so I I want to sit at the end with Rachel. I was not sold on that. I was debating, do we want to do something fun with Sue's idol to get out Rachel? That was something that I was thinking about. But that is the reasoning why I was not at any point in these last few episodes trying to go after Rachel.
Now, sometimes somebody plays a game like you, has a hard time selling that to a jury. Like 'cause it's very subtle. What was your
Yes.
dream final three, and what would your pitch have been to the jury to give you the win?
Absolutely. There were a few people I was comfortable sitting at with the final three. Sue was one of them. Loved, like, collaborating with Sue. Um, I felt comfortable sitting at the end with Teeny, felt comfortable with Andy, and I felt comfortable with Sam. I did not think it was going to be a slam dunk, but really my pitch for the jury really revolved around surprising them as much as possible. My goal out there was to be I wanted to learn when is it that people wanted to make a move and when did they want to get people out? When was it aligned with my game? And how can I push for it behind the scenes to make it happen so that other people took the credit, but I was instrumental in making that vote happen. And so I felt like I had quite a few examples of that, as well as how I really encouraged other people to seem like they were at the forefront of it. And so I felt really confident about that. I also like did not say I was a strategy consultant. And I felt like honestly, it would hold a lot of sway to say strategically, here's what I did, and also this is my profession. For better, for worse, I thought that it would encourage people to view my opinion very highly. So I thought that while it was very subtle, people would trust what I was saying, maybe more than someone who didn't have that profession. So I will admit it was a really big gamble the way I was playing, if it would pull off at the final three. I was so curious to see if it would work. But honestly, I knew that it was a bit more untraditional, a bit more unique, but like that was the game I wanted to play. I wanted to see if it was possible. So I was experimenting the whole time, but I'm so proud of myself for choosing to do it versus playing it. Funny enough, playing a more flashy game was more safe in my opinion. I wanted to go this route and see if it was possible.
Yeah, like I said, we didn't see you for a while. It was easy to write you off, and then whenever you would come into the forefront, it's like, all right, like so we've got a player here. Speaking of which, so we ended up with this underdog alliance versus the threats, and Kyle's is a challenge threat, and Genevieve is a strategic threat, and Sam. Why Sam in that list? We got this question last week in the comment section. I thought it was really interesting. Like, other than being like, potentially a challenge threat, why was he viewed as such a threat?
I think he was viewed as a threat because he played a really good game on Gata. He was really brilliant. And coming into the merge, he came in hot. It was clear he had great connections on Gata, wonderful strategic relationship with Sierra. And he is just a very charismatic person who's also very magnetic. So he gives off a threat aura. I'll be honest, throughout the game as it played out, I felt comfortable sitting with him at the end. So I felt like he was a threat, but I felt like I felt like I had things to explain where I felt okay sitting next to him at the end. But I think the thing is when you're trying to persuade other people to vote other people out, it's so much easier to persuade other people, vote him out because he's a threat, keep on the outside because he's a threat. So sometimes it's something that also you're trying to think about what will the other person be persuaded by, and you say that, not necessarily always showing all your cards and saying what your real reasoning is for wanting to keep someone around.
Okay.
But
About
I will clarify, he is also just a threatening guy in terms of he's has a great mind for the game. He pulled off some great moves. It's just how the flow of the game works as the game goes on.
Now, I'm going to blow your mind. We do a word
Do it.
association here to get to know your tribe mates a little better. Maybe you've heard of it. I'll give you a name, give me the first word, a couple words pop in your head. Let's start off with TK.
Athlete.
Rachel,
I thought brainstormed a word I loved for Rachel. Impressive.
you're not supposed to think of these in advance. Kyle,
Sorry, that was a fail, but yeah, impressive.
how dare you? Kyle,
Family man.
Sierra,
Charming.
Tiana,
Persistent.
Saul,
Inspiring.
Gabe,
Confident.
Genevieve,
Architect.
Andy,
Resilient.
Rome,
His own worst enemy.
Sam,
Layers.
Sue.
Loyal.
Let's finish off with Teeny.
Mesmerizing.
Teeny had a very interesting episode because I see her as this like amazing. I always say that Parvati's gift is you want her to like you. And I feel like that's kind of Teeny's gift. It's like she's got a great social game, and I want her to like me. But it seemed like she had a rough episode between Sam not taking her on the reward, her and Genevieve having it out over Genevieve saying that Rachel might be more likely to get her vote. Was that something you were witness? Like as a player like you see that. I imagine you're like, how can I use this? So, what do you think was going through Teeny's mind last episode, as well as like, how are you hoping to use that to your advantage?
Absolutely. So many thoughts on Teeny. I have to say, you hit the nail on the head where like Teeny has this gift. Not only do you want Teeny to like you, but you just can't help but love Teeny. Like even when I wasn't working with Teeny necessarily and we're like in the early stages, I just adored Teeny. Like I just loved spending time with them. And so it's a gift, like truly Teeny is one of the most mesmerizing people I have ever met. And even to the point where I feel like Teeny was quite like frustrated in the moment that Sam didn't like choose them for the reward. What's funny too, and they didn't go into showing it as much, we thought it was silly because Sam's only real alliance member at that time was Genevieve. And what they didn't show is before this reward challenge, all five, like the underdogs at some point, talked about, okay, if we have a reward challenge, here's how we're going to split up who we take. Always make sure that someone who we really trust is back at camp reporting back. And so like Teeny in a way was also like flabbergasted about like, are you not even playing the game anymore? Are you just like taking your best friend out there? You're not even like respecting me enough to try to like take me and try to sway me. So I feel like Teeny was also upset because she felt like, dude, like play harder. Now see that it worked out for him. Who he brought on the reward was phenomenal. But I also respect Teeny for being like, dude, play more. And I think what's funny is that Teeny being so raw and open at that moment really set a funny enough a very positive tone for us moving forward where we were all just very honest with each other about like we just adore playing with each other, let's play together. It turned into a really bonding experience, and that was actually what I started using when you ask how I wanted to use that moment. Use that honesty, use that emotion to help forge a strong connection with those four women.
Well, we're running out of time here. So, when you come back for the season against Rachel and Genevieve, I don't want to talk to you until after the finale. Understand?
Deal.
Ah, too soon. Too soon. All right. So thank you so much for your time, Carolyn. This was great.
Gordon, I was so thrilled to talk to you. I'm so happy I was able to finally meet you,
Oh my
genuinely.
gosh. How dare you? Get out of here. Loved the episode.
Yeah.
Hated the result.
Gordon, I feel the same way. Objectively great episode. I'm like, damn, I don't. Hey, I think it would have been more fun if Sue played her idol. So my only critique of the episode, but
Well, whose
it means
fault
a
was
lot.
that?
It was mine.
Whose
Full
fault was
credit to
that?
mine.